for you, feminism is very different.
But my thing is, it's what is important is not positivity or negativity, but the complexity of a woman.
We are actually stereotyping the modern woman. Women are still judged. It's about human frailty. And for me, exploring something like that is very exciting.
Vidya Balan launched Maithili Rao book The Millennial Woman in Bollywood, a new brand.
More importantly, I realize that it's impacted a lot of kids, amongst which are a lot of girls. So I think it's definitely had an impact. Firstly, where do we have enough? Films and math and science and all. Even I would have thought of as very, boring. I'm sorry to say, but it's not a natural choice, right, for storytelling. But I thought these stories were one celebratory mission Mangal, it needed to be told. And Shakuntala, for not just a mathematician she was, everyone knows that she was a wizard, but for the woman she was, I didn't know that side to her. So when I did the films for those reasons, but I was amazed because especially Shakuntala released during the pandemic. It was, I think, the second film to release on OTT during the first lockdown. And the number of people who wrote to me after it, on Instagram, on social media, on even people who had access to my number wrote to me directly saying, they've sent me videos of their children playing Shakuntala, of wanting to learn maths. Same thing happened after Mission Mangal. The number of kids, I remember I was at a theatre watching a film in town, and this boy came up to me and his mother told me he had watched the film 40 times. Yeah, 40 times, and that he wanted to get a hug from me. I was amazed, because the kind of films I've done, most of them are, adult films, and I don't get too much of a kiddie audience, but it was amazing that the film had that kind of impact. Women as just human beings, and not expect, we expect too much from our women also, which is the point I was trying to make. I don't know, the thoughts were just formulating in my head, so I'm still wondering if I've been articulate enough, but it's, I think we'll reach that stage, but it'll take some time, because we've had male-led films forever. And we've had in every female actor's career, there would be one film where she played the central protagonist, and that was about it. And they said, that was more a celebration of, I think, her artistry more than anything else. But do you think we're becoming a little myopic in the sense that the way we're judging female characters has actually, I think female characters are judged as severely now for the fact or through the prism of whether they are being feminist or not. I think the tables have turned. I don't know if I'm able to articulate this correctly, but previously, I think they would get judged for whether they were good women or bad women, or they were victims or they were vamps or all of that. But now I think every character is being judged for whether she's feminist or not. And isn't that an unnatural expectation from every female character on screen? Because feminism is not one thing. I think feminism has to be also seen in the context of the world the story is being told in. Like, I'll never forget what one of my sociology professors said when I was studying at Xavier's. And she had said that for you, feminism is very different. Your rights, being aware of your rights and living your life on your own terms and making your choices, all of that constitutes who you are. But for a woman in a village who's lived in the parda or in the ghungat all her life, the first time she lifts the ghungat and walks, that is empowerment. That is, in that context, she is being a feminist. So do you think we are going through a time when we are looking at it through a very myopic having very myopic view on this. No, I'm first very intrigued to know why the selection of these three faces for the book. I'm very flattered that you to be sharing space with Meena Kumari, who's, who's an icon for all of us. But I've admired her deeply, and of course, I've loved Kajol. I also know her a little personally. But Meena Kumari, I was like, oh my God, why the selection of these three faces for the book?
I was actually struggling to come up with a cover idea. And here I must thank the person who's not here. I suggested to Shama and her son Dhruv, whom I know, they live here in Bombay, and I bought her painting. And suddenly one Sunday morning, and OUP asked me, "What do you want for the cover?" I said, "I want something symbolic, a figure of a woman who is free, like a flowing palla maybe, and then still working, rooted in the soil." But it didn't gel. The sort of things that they sent, I said, it's like very generic. It could be like in a textbook. I said, this book is about cinema. So I have to choose the actors, the icon. And also I wanted to suggest a kind of an evolution of the Indian woman from Meena Kumari, and Kajal is the bridge because the 90s cinema comes in there. And then the 20th century, I thought no one better than you for that. And so when I suggested the idea to them, so they came back, I said, we don't want portraits or we don't want actual photographs. Just, make it, because my theme was black and white with touches of red. So then they came, and I'm very, very happy. Sorry they couldn't be here because Dhruv got married a couple of days ago. So I can't expect the new groom and the new mother-in-law to come here for the function. So a big thanks to them.
Women are still judged for in cinema.
Yes.
Previously it was to see whether you're a good woman or a bad woman, but today it is to see whether you're empowered, whether you're a feminist, whether you're independent enough. By what yardstick are we using? You cannot use the same yardstick. And why does every woman have to be empowered on screen? Then we are only telling stories of a certain kind of certain group of women.
Yes.
There are women who still have to make that journey. There are women who may not yet have made that journey, may not have even set foot on that journey. I think we need to see reality from a more holistic perspective.